Thank you. We're now called to order the Traffic and Safety Commission meeting for February 24th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Can I have a roll call, Ms. Clerk?
I will now commence roll call. Commissioner Romero?
Present.
Commissioner Knox? Vice Chair Baez?
Present.
Chair LaRocca?
Present. Now, do we have any corrections to the agenda?
Yes, Chair. A couple of corrections. So Mr. Mike Bagari is no longer the city's traffic engineer. So for items 3 and 4, which are the reports that he originally drafted back in February, we're going to omit his name from the agenda, just out of professionalism for his engineering credentials, and since he is no longer employed by the city of Montebello. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, do we have any presentations from city staff?
Yes, Chair, Mr. Matt from Community Development. He will be giving you a presentation.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair LaRocca and members of the Traffic and Safety Commission. As Director Roldan stated, my name is Matthew Ramos, the Assistant Director for Planning and Community Development. I have a real brief presentation for you tonight in regards to Assembly Bill 413, which is an intersection daylighting law. Next slide. Perfect. What is California's new daylighting law? It was authored by Assembly Member Alex Lee from San Jose. AB 413 is a new state law that prohibits stopping, standing, or parking within 20 feet of the vehicle approach side of a crosswalk. This is known as daylighting and is a safety measure which is designed to increase pedestrian safety. Some of the key provisions of, actually let me skipped over some of the important dates as it relates to AB 413. This new law was in effect on January 1st of this year. The City of Montebello had an education period from January to February, which included our Public Information Office putting out a video in English and Spanish, letting residents know that this law is in the books. We will have full enforcement of this law here in Montebello beginning March 1st of 2025. Some of the key provisions of AB 413, it creates a new vehicle code section, which prohibits stopping, standing, or parking within 20 feet of any unmarked or marked crosswalk. And it also prohibits stopping, standing, or parking within 15 feet of a crosswalk with a curb extension. This new state law applies to all streets regardless of the existence of painted curbs. Some of the specifics as it relates to one-way or two-way streets. On two-way streets, the right side approach to a crosswalk is now affected. And on one-way streets, both the left and right curb areas 20 feet from the crosswalk are now no parking zones. How does this new daylighting law increase pedestrian safety? Provides clear visual field for pedestrians. Pedestrians don't have to step into the intersection to see if it's safe to cross. It also improves visibility for drivers. Drivers can better see pedestrians waiting to cross, and it also eliminates obstructions. What can our residents do to comply with this new state law? If there are red curbs or parking prohibition signs, adhere to those specific distances. If there are no signs or painted curbs, apply the 20-foot distance rule, which is roughly the length of a standard parking space. As far as enforcement goes, daylighting laws can be enforced with or without signage or painted curbs. That concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments from the commission?
Just for clarification, thank you for the presentation. It's a very brief presentation. So I'm thinking more of as a driver Well, I do both. I drive and I walk. So now, as you're approaching to a crosswalk, you have to stay 20 feet below, away from the crosswalk. You have to stop there. You cannot, normally we go like really close to the crosswalk. So now we have to stay 20 feet behind.
Yes, that's correct. That would be 20 feet from the beginning of the crosswalk.
I'm sorry, and that's as you're driving or both to drive and to
No,
park?
this is just
isn't
for
it?
parking.
Oh, just for parking? Oh, okay. All right, I'm sorry. I thought it was also for the drivers. Okay, thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
So will there be any new signage implemented to notify pedestrians, or how will residents of Montebello know about this law? Some of them may not know, but I did, but just to notify residents, is there going to be anything publicized from our city, or if it has already?
So since, I can speak to regards to some of the outreach, since January of this year, we did do, our public information office put information out on our social media websites explaining the new law. And since January, our park and enforcement staff have been issuing warnings for those in violation of the new state law.
But there will not be any new signage implemented for that?
No, Commissioner, no signage will be placed as part of the red curb. At some point, though, we will discuss, actually, I wanted to introduce our new traffic engineer, Dennis Barnes. He has history here with the city of Montebello as well, and he could probably talk a little bit about this, but the idea here is that red curb will only be placed on a case-by-case basis, understanding that there is this law that exists. You know, the fact is that depending on where you are in the city, parking is at a premium. So we do take that into consideration. However, we also have to be abiding to this new law. So it's a combination of us, like slowly but surely putting in red curb in some of the areas, which we already started to do. But this law makes it, that much more reinforceable, especially when, from a compliance standpoint, from either PD or parking enforcement or code enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
And Commissioner, just to add on the signage, I think the rationale is red curb. I mean, it's pretty standard that, if it's designated as red curb, you're not to park there, right? And then I do ask, and Caesar's right, to please bear with us as we go through this process. We obviously want to be compliant with state regulations and laws, but we do have a lot of streets, and it's one of these things that we're adding to our work orders to do it. But I guess it's more information at this point. It is something that we are at least warning, and that we are going to have to enforce per state law. And one more question. In terms of enforcement, what's the typical penalty for parking in this area?
Typical fine amount is $70.
Okay. Moving on to public comments. At this time, the general public may address the commission on any items on the agenda, including items not listed on the agenda that are within subject matter jurisdiction. Sorry, I should have said, do we have any public comments?
Chair LaRocca, we have one public comment by Brandon Takayama.
Thank you very much. So you have 3 minutes to provide your public comment to the commission. You may come up and give your public comment. I don't believe he's here. No.
Yes, he left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. If he returns, then can we hear his public comment at a later time? Great. Next item for business is our minutes. Approval of the November 25th Traffic and Safety Commission meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from November 25th.
Thank you very much. Can we get a roll call, please?
We have a motion to approve the November 25th, 2024 Traffic and Safety Commission meeting minutes by Commissioner Romero, seconded by Vice Chair Baez. I will now commence roll call. Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Knox? Vice Chair Beas?
Here.
Okay. Chair LaRocca?
Aye.
The motion passes. The minutes for the meeting have been approved.
Now we'll move into regular business. Item number 3, parking prohibition at 600 South Maple Avenue. Do we have a presentation from staff regarding this item?
Yes, Chair LaRocca, I will present this item for today's meeting. So this request was for the prohibition of parking at 600 South Maple Avenue. So the recommendation to the Traffic and Safety Commission is to approve installation of tollway, no stopping from 6 a.m. to 12 noon, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, parking prohibition on the east side of Maple Avenue along the Heart of Compassion Distribution Food Bank facility, frontage as shown in Attachment C, and approve the temporary loss of 7th Street parking spaces during parking prohibition hours. So back in November of 2024, we received a request by the Heart of Compassion to paint this area red. And the focus is primarily on the fact that they feed a large majority of individuals in need on those days, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So because the queuing or the lining of vehicles is along, and we don't want to block traffic, especially because the high school is right next door, we are taking this into consideration for the addition of red curb. And then obviously, installing signs that prohibits parking during those times. There's already a lot of red curb next to ATC High School. This item was brought to you back several months back for red curb to allow the students to go into the school and instead of crossing the street on Mines because it's very dangerous. So parking is limited in that area. And the Heart of Compassion does need their space in order to service the community. So based on our conclusion, we went and discussed this with individuals at Hearts of Compassion, and our recommendation is to paint red curb, and then also prohibited parking during 6 a.m. to 12 noon, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If there's any questions, I'll be gladly answer those.
Not gonna be in red, are you, right? Yeah, are you? It'll still be red. It's red, right? It's not red, is it?
No, there is in red right now.
Right, but you know, paint, like I said, you have all the industries that work, people that work there. And they park their curb red, they'll get a ticket. So you want to put, signs from this time to this time? On what day?
Correct. So the signage is primarily just on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, no parking. I think the biggest issue would be if, for example, there's already parking vehicles there. But at some point in time, then, either the Heart of Compassion could contact parking enforcement and either have them cited for parking during those time limits of 6 a.m. to 12 noon, or, they would actually get towed.
Those are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I think.
Oh, yes, Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 6 a.m. to 12 noon.
Any other comments? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm confused because when I drove by, it looked red to me, and I'm looking at the picture, and it shows that it's red in the picture. So is it somewhere else that you're saying that the signage is going to be? Because there is a large red area right in front of Hearts and Compassion. So is that red being removed and the signs are being placed? or-
Correct, yes.
Okay,
So
so
the-
the red is going to be removed.
So, yeah, the removal of red, just the signage, so that it allows individuals to park. Like I said, on the other side, on Mines, there's a lot of red.
Right,
And so, the businesses around the area too are looking for available space, not just for their patrons, but also for
definitely.
their workers.
Okay, thank you for the
And so
clarification.
Attachment C is, if you look at it, that's the one that lays out exactly where the red striping is going to be. If you want to see on what side of the street.
So just to be clear, there's going to be a red curb in addition to the signage that they cannot park there, or Where is the signage going to be where they cannot park there between 6 and 12? Are they
Correct,
getting
yeah.
both?
So the signage will be placed at the beginning of Hearts of Compassion, and then on the north side, so that patrons know not to park there during those hours of 6 a.m. to 12, Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, so the signage just those 2 days, Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 6 to 12, there's going to be red curb. And then in addition, I can see where, there might be, yeah, after hours. Know that whenever we implement something or if Traffic Commission approves it, for example, this one, there is quite a bit of a coordination that happens for us between us, parking enforcement, code enforcement. So it's not one of these blankets, hey, if they see red, they're going to ticket. No, when there's a lot of noticing there. Our staff is fully aware, right? So we're not trying to penalize folks that are parking there when they're allowed to be parking there. And if for some reason there was an instance where they were inappropriately ticketed, that's something that, we try to address ourselves internally if they notify us that they got a ticket outside of the time frame. So, yeah, we understand it could be, it could be a little bit confusing. So we're hoping that the signage, the red curb, our staff being aware, it's just, there's a lot of moving pieces in that whole area with the school and Hearts of Compassion. So we're trying to accommodate the overall impacts that we have while balancing the great work that Hearts of Compassion does, but also not trying to impact all the traffic that flows around that time.
I happened to visit and I got to see the flow of traffic, and this was later in the morning after most of the residents had picked up their bags or food. I just think that it will create some confusion. If I see it red, I will not want to park there, and even though the sign says what it says. So just putting the sign, it will not be enough. It needs to be painted red too, or just a sign?
It already is red.
Right, so the idea is to gray out those areas so that it still allows for normal parking, but limited parking during those hours on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 6 a.m. to 12.
Just to clarify, so to me, red curb means no parking at all.
Correct.
That's a standard, right? So this image shows red on attachment C. Is this image correct or incorrect?
The image there has white curb also. So the idea was that we were gonna have Public Works come in and gray that out. And then just have that area that states that you're not supposed to be parking during those hours, correct? Because red curb would be, that you're not supposed to park. Now, you could have signs, sometimes there's signs for buses and things like that nature, like they have at ATC High School. However, the idea of this area being not red curb is what I would like to do, including the signage. That way, it allows them to conduct business on those 2 days, and then it allows anybody else to park during the week.
So thank you for the clarification. So do we have a motion to approve item number 3 with the tow away, no stopping, 6 a.m. to 12 noon, Tuesdays and Wednesdays on the east side of Maple Avenue? Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Can we have a roll call, please?
We have a motion to approve this item by Commissioner Romero, seconded by Commissioner Knox. I will now commence roll call. Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Knox?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reyes?
Aye.
Chair LaRocca?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Now we're moving on to item number 4, 1401 South Spruce Street disabled parking space. Do we have any information from staff on this item?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So this item was originally brought to the Traffic and Safety Commission back in November of 2024. The request is for the installation of disabled parking space for the property at 1401 South Spruce Street. We're looking to deny this. Originally, when the traffic engineer brought this in front of Traffic and Safety Commission, we were looking to approve it. However, once we discussed a little bit more about the existing room inside their property and the available spaces, we went back and we reviewed the area, and then we decided to deny the request that there's sufficient space on their property. We did contact the property owner, And we informed them that we were going to bring this item back to the Traffic and Safety Commission, that they were welcome to come in if they wanted to discuss. I do not see the property owner in the audience, so they're not here to kind of plead their case. So based on that, the request is to deny the addition of blue curb at 1401 South Spruce Street.
Thank
And
you
I'll
very
take any questions that you may raise.
Thank you, Director. Do we have any comments or questions on this item?
Not for me.
Just to go over, I believe this was the resident that said something to the effect that it would be easier for them to park in the street when they came out of their residence. But I was a bit confused as well because it looked like they could just come right out of their house and park in the driveway. Do you recall what the reason was why they needed it in the street as opposed to their driveway? Because I remember it was fairly long, so I was a bit confused at their request, and I don't recall if it was this one. I think we had two that last meeting, but it's been a few months since. Do you recall what their reasoning was?
Commissioner, that's correct. You do recollect well. So the idea was that if they parked right in front of their, on the side of their house, they would actually have access. At first, there was thought that the existing garage was being converted into an ADU, but once we confirmed with our Community Development Department that that wasn't the case, we stated that they had enough room on site to just ingress, egress from the front of the garage. So based on that information, saying that there's enough space available to park several cars there, we're looking to deny this request.
Thank you.
Were you able to speak to them over the phone or email regarding this?
Yes, sir. Staff was able to contact them, and they also informed them that if they wanted to come to tonight's meeting, they were able to do so and then plead their case. But unfortunately, they're not here.
Yeah, so the only thing, initially I thought, denying it because they have adequate space here. But looking at it a second time, if I wish the resident was here, we had additional information to kind of talk with them. But meeting the guidelines here that we have, having no available off-street parking as defined by the specifications, it seems that they have to meet all the criteria. So I think it would be best to deny, in my opinion, unless we have more information. And we can always come back if more information comes to light and we need to re-examine this. So do we have any motions for this item?
I just have one more last question. How much notice were they given prior to this meeting to attend the meeting?
I believe the call was made last week.
Okay, thank you.
And they've known about this because they submitted in this request back in early September, October. And then we brought this in front of the Traffic and Safety Commission in November.
And I also like to mention that the item was on the agenda for last month when we couldn't meet because we didn't have quorum. So they, in essence, known for 2 months.
That's correct, too.
All right, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I motion to deny.
We have a second. Can we have the roll call, please?
We have a motion to deny the blue curb application for 1401 South Spruce Street by Commissioner Romero, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. I will now commence roll call. Commissioner Romero?
I believe.
I apologize for that. Motion to approve was by Commissioner Knox, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Apologies for that. Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Knox?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reyes?
Aye.
Chair LaRocca?
Aye.
The motion passes. This item will be denied.
Okay, next item, we have a discussion on Traffic and Safety Commission reorganization. So if I'm not mistaken, this item is to discuss just chair and vice chair.
Yeah, typically each year, the first meeting in January, we bring back to the commissions in terms of reorganizing their leadership positions if the commission wants to do so. We did this the last meeting with the city council. We've done it through the other meetings. We obviously didn't meet last month, so, at this point, it would be appropriate if the commission wants to reorganize itself.
Yeah, okay. Do we have any nominations or volunteers to be chair or vice chair?
I'll volunteer.
Would you like to be chair?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a volunteer for vice chair?
I'll volunteer to be vice chair.
Okay. I make a motion to nominate Commissioner Baez as chair and Commissioner Knox as vice chair.
I second.
Can we get a roll call?
We have a motion to appoint Vice Chair Reyes as chair of this commission and Commissioner Knox as vice chair for this commission by Chair LaRocca, seconded by Commissioner Romero. I will now commence roll call. Commissioner Romero?
Aye.
Commissioner Knox?
Aye.
Vice Chair Reyes?
Aye.
Chair LaRocca?
Aye.
The motion passes.
Okay, now as chair, Mr. Baez, would you like to commence with the next item?
Let's go ahead and finish it.
Okay. All right, I'll finish up with. Next item is commission orals. Since I have a few items, I'll let Commissioner Knox go first if she'd like to.
Thank you. The traffic on Howard Avenue, I was told by resident that they've been having a lot of issues with, I don't know if this conversation happened a couple of months ago, so I don't know if it's still happening, but that they were doing donuts up there because of there's no lights, there's no stop signs, the street is pretty open, and so people or the people that like to kind of conduct races or do donuts, disruptors, like to go up there. So it would be nice if it can be checked to see if that is still happening, because that resident said that it was very disruptive.
Well, yeah, so just, we started the meeting. I do want to, we have our new Chief Louis Lopez here present. He'll be attending the meeting. So yes, allow us to look into it and we'll report back at a future meeting, okay?
Thank you. The second item is just providing a little bit of feedback on the blinking lights installed on Lincoln and Germain. Residents have told me they're very happy that the lights are there. I myself have noticed that people stop better as opposed to before. I think the stops improved from drivers going by. So some residents are very happy, including myself, because it's so close to home. So thank you very much for installing them. I also wanted to mention the barriers on Villa Campo and Finley. I believe that not too long ago there was a fatality there, an accident. And so I saw it on Facebook and people were pretty upset. There were people for it, people against it. So I just wanted to see if, I'm sure that you guys have looked into it, that they have gotten complaints. That's part of Montebello, isn't it? That area?
Yes.
So I remember those barriers were installed many years ago for the reason that I believe people were there were a lot of accidents. The problem is that I think still some drivers still continue to want to make a right when they shouldn't. I've seen it myself a couple of times. But I don't know what else can be done. Removing them, I think it increases the traffic on Finley and possibly other accidents. And so at this point, some people were saying like maybe it should be completely blocked, but then I don't know that that's really the solution. I don't know if there's even a solution to that problem. Seems to be a significant problem there.
I have something to say about that corner.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I go through another school district. I go to Bella Vista, which is vending. When you come in across, there's only, if you come in northbound, there's only a left turn when you come vending to the print. People are still trying to go across to get on the freeway this way. About a week and a half ago, I almost got hit right there. This guy came head on. I mean, I'm on the light's there, going. The light goes, this guy came straight ahead, and he started telling me, hey, you're going wrong. I go, look at your live right there, bro. I see your driveway. And they're just not looking at it. There'd be something done there, maybe a little something to make them turn their right turn. To make sure they make the right turn. But otherwise than that, they don't care. It's plus the kids cross the street right there too. If they get hit, what are you gonna say? It'll be too late. That one person died there with the kid in the back. That was not too long ago either. I don't know how many times that accident I've been there. That poor lady who lives in the corner house, she must have videos saying months and months of that there, of all the accidents there. So maybe we could look into that, how another way to make sure that people do make a right turn when you come northbound. See if that can be checked into. That's all I have.
Yeah, commissioners. So this is something that we've been looking at immediately. If you saw the last council meeting, Councilmember Peralta was able to share some videos. There was actually a traffic fatality that happened here. I believe it was December 23rd or a couple of days before Christmas, where somebody made an improper turn, making a left, and they were hit. For those of us that grew up in Montebello and remember Finley, I mean that intersection, or just that getting off the freeway. Yes, those barriers, before those barriers were there was a lot of accidents of people that would hit them. And if you look at the barriers now, there's still a lot of damage of cars still hitting the barriers, right? So there is signage. They're supposed to prevent the vehicles from hitting the properties along Finley Avenue, but obviously there's still issues where people are making illegal turns. So what I can tell you, this is one of probably high priority items that we're working on, given the severity of the accidents, and especially since there was a recent death. So what we are planning on doing, are coming back to the commission and actually the city council. We're looking at short-term solutions, right? Something that we probably need to do under our emergency authority, or my emergency authority as the administrator, to try to prevent this as soon as possible. So we're doing some initial assessments on that, and then long-term, we need to really assess on that overall, on that whole intersection, and just the whole dynamics of how it's laid out and the traffic flow, and then just preventing more accidents. So I can tell you, we are planning on coming back to the commission and city council again, first with some short-term solutions and then some long-term solutions. But it's not an easy problem to solve. If you're driving that intersection, it's complicated, to say the least.
And last, I just want to say welcome, Chief Lopez.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here, and look forward to working with the commission along with our traffic officers to whatever problems we may have, to work collaboratively to solve the issues, whether it's an enforcement situation we have to do or more of an education piece. Whatever fits a specific situation, we'll work with you to make sure that we address those concerns.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Knox. Thank you, Chief Lopez. Sorry. Chief Lopez, thank you. Next item. For my commission orders, I have a few. I just wanted to see if we could get some status updates on a few items, such as the status of the roundabout on Concourse and Madison. That would be my first item.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Chair. At the moment, we are currently having an engineering firm design this, but we're also looking at temporary measures, putting in delineators to kind of mark out the area and some signage. So we are working on that too.
So as soon as we implement that, and we'll be coming back to the commission just to provide an update on that as well.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The next one is the Beverly Boulevard Traffic Signal Synchronization Project. Do we have any timelines or status on that?
Yes, once again, this is Los Angeles County Department of Public Works working on this project. They are probably at 65, 75% done. This morning and this afternoon, they were working on the east end of the city on Beverly. They're still coordinating to putting in the timing. They're coordinating on making upgrades to the traffic signal controller, the cabinet, and then also some of the traffic signals themselves. They actually were placing, instead of traffic loops, they're putting in video detection camera, which is something that is really, really good. It's an upgrade to the system that we currently have. So they're working on that as we speak. But also Beverly Boulevard, it's the whole corridor, not just the city of Montebello that they're looking at.
Thank you very much for that detailed update. The next item is, I got a request from a resident regarding the traffic light programming at Liberty Avenue and Montebello Boulevard. I believe he noticed that the Liberty Avenue, basically egress from Liberty Avenue, there was the light signal there was pretty long when there was no cars coming out, and he was concerned. Just he was like, I think he told me he would drive to work at 5 a.m. and there would be no one there, and he'd be waiting there for like a minute or two. If we can look into that traffic light for residents. Item number 4 is if we have any updates on, like, I believe we submitted some grant applications, or we're working with Metro to get grants on street improvements. I think it's in partnership with Montebello Bus Lines. Do we have any updates on any sort of grant awards or submittals?
Yeah, Commissioner, if you remember, commissioners, if you remember, I think this came up last year. So I think one of the things that I mentioned, we are a pretty big city, full service city, including our PD, fire, and our transit system in particular. So we typically don't provide updates, not even a council, to a certain extent, on the grant applications that we submit, because there's quite a bit, right? So what we do bring to council as is approvals of the grants that we do receive. So maybe what we can do, and there's been some recent ones, maybe as informational items we can submit to the commission, Caesar, just kind of some of the staff reports of the items that we've been bringing to council in terms of grants that we've received and they've approved, so they get a sense of things that are being approved by our city, or grant applications that we received and received. Is that okay for the commission? Yeah, frankly, again, we do submit quite a bit of grant applications, and that's not typically something that we provide to council. It's just would take a lot of time.
Yeah, that would be informative for everyone to see where basically there's room to focus, in terms of, if there's funding, then we can focus on traffic signal improvements, or just focusing our traffic studies that we can, as the commission, can direct staff to do. Okay. The next item is number 5, the street repaving project. I know it's an ongoing process, but people are always concerned with the street conditions. So do we have what streets are currently being worked on? How is that project looking? Do we have any updates on that?
Oh, yes, Commissioner. Currently, we have our SB1 fiscal year 23-24 project out. It started construction this week. They're starting to do a lot of the surveying, potholing, things that are very natural when a project starts. And then next week, they're going to be starting to grind and overlay some of the streets as well. So as of this week, what we will do, or what I will do, is provide the Parks and Recreation Department with information that they could post on social media, and then inform the community of some of the projects that we're currently working on paving streets. There's several streets throughout, both the south side and the north side of Montebello.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think residents are interested in that and seeing, progress being made. So that'll be helpful. Item number 6, if this is for consideration, I noticed that a lot of the traffic signals around the city, they basically don't prioritize pedestrians. So the walk signals are immediately tell pedestrians you're not allowed to walk until you press the button and you're given okay to go. In a lot of other cities, pedestrians are giving priority by automatically showing up a walk sign and then timing down until the red light comes. Is there any plans on potentially improving this for pedestrians in terms of just, upgrading the signals and making them a little bit more pedestrian friendly?
Well, we just had a conversation this afternoon with Mr. Dennis Barnes, our new traffic engineer. And so he was pointing out a intersection which needed push buttons and things of that nature. So one of the tasks that he will undertake in the next several months is taking a look at some of the signals. And hopefully we get an ability to upgrade some of those, especially if there's something that we could readily fix or have our contractor that maintains and operates our traffic signals. If it's something that they can do, I think that would be in our best interest. And then anything that we are having issues with, then obviously we could go ahead and, coordinate through a capital project and then put those on a list of us to take care of in the future. But currently, LA County Department of Public Works has upgraded a lot of the signals on Beverly. They're doing Washington, they're doing Whittier. And then also we are just upgrading 3 signals currently, both 2 on Villacampo and then 1 on Garfield. And so we are working towards improving our traffic signal lights.
It's really great news that we're upgrading a lot of the traffic signals. I was just, since those projects are already ongoing, I would wonder, what would be the additional cost of, prioritizing pedestrians at those intersections when we're already taking the time in to rehab those intersections. I don't know if that can be something that, simple inquiry to see with the current contract, if that can be prioritized.
Regarding any projects that are TSSP related or through the LA County Department of Public Works, it might be difficult to go ahead and do that just because they're probably have a certain amount of budget. But then what we can do is internally we can review some of those. And if there's something that might be improved upon, like for example, pedestrian walk signal improvements, we could probably, contemplate that with the city manager and see about available funding for that purpose.
Yeah, that'd be great. If we can, get some sort of feedback next meeting, if even though if it's a negative, just describing what the situation is and what can be done. That'd be great. And then lastly, we should have done this from the beginning, but if the new traffic engineer would like to introduce himself and.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Yes, my name is Dennis Barnes. I'm back to Montebello. I've worked here before. I think it was almost 3.5, 4 years. So I have prior experience working in Montebello. I've worked as traffic engineer in several cities over the years in Orange County and LA County. I'm very adept at what I do. I enjoy traffic engineering as such. And I look forward to coming back and provide a good service for the citizens within the community and solve all the traffic and safety issues that you're currently having. The PED timing in that, some of the intersections we mentioned, I'm familiar with those locations, so I look forward to addressing those and making it acceptable to all the citizens within the community.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. With that, I'd like I'd like to adjourn our Traffic and Safety Commission meeting at 6:44 p.m. Thank you so much.